Hey there, I'm Sir Classy and I'm going to show you how to make a little baby type beat in FL Studio. If you're new, hit the subscribe button and let's get started. So before we get started, we're going to listen to the beat and then we're going to take it all apart. This is the beat. All right, so that's pretty much the beat and we're going to take it all apart. So it all starts with the chords, a grand piano chord, which I play with Analog Lab V, American Classic presets. And this is how the chords sound. Now, the key of this beat is in D minor. So after playing the chord progression, there was the intro bell melody. So this is kind of like a remake for Lil Baby and Lil Durk songs, Voices of Heroes, but I added my own twist to it, but it still got the vibes. So the intro melody sounds like this. Let me zoom in here. And this is how I use Analog Lab V once again. Then I used Fruity Delay to add the delay effect. And so when I play it, this is how it sounds. So if you've been struggling with getting pro mixes, making better beats, recording vocals, I do offer one-on-one training. Yes, one-on-one training. And all you have to do is click the link in the description below that says one-on-one training. You fill a very simple form so I can help understand you better and what you need and how I can help you get there. So when you fill this form, I'm going to get back to you as soon as possible and we can get started on your journey to making much better music in no time. Trust me, it doesn't have to be a house. So making music doesn't have to be a house. You don't have to spend many endless hours on YouTube looking for tutorials. With just a very short time, within about 4 to 6 weeks, roughly within that range, I can get you to your goals in no time. Yes, with money back guaranteed. So don't forget to click the link in the description after you're done with this video to fill up a form, and I'm going to get back to you pronto. All right, now let's get back to the tutorial. And then next we have our bell pluck pad as well, which sounds like this using Pretty Bell presets. And this is how it sounds. On its own. Now this progression is just I just ripped them out from the chord progression. So you can try that as well. When you have a chord progression, you're trying to create pads, you can just take out some notes from the chords to see if you get a different feel. So now this is the main pad, the synth pad, and this is how it sounds. I'm going to solo it right here. And I used expand 2, the presets, spooky presets under soft pads. And so this is how it sounds. Then for the bell pad, which I layered with for the previous pad as well, I used Nebula Church in Cork Triton's slow synth preset. And this is the progression, same progression, but I just had a higher octave and a lower octave. Then I took out some notes. I like to take out some notes whenever I'm trying to do make some changes or variation to my chords or my pads. I can just create another octave lower or higher, then take out some notes to just make it sound more interesting. These are the same progression with the original grand piano you saw earlier, and this is how it sounds. It makes it even sound more spooky, right? So you can try that. That's a trick I like to use for my pads and my chords. And so together, this is how my melody sounds. All right. So for my lead piano, this melody is what basically runs through from the entire verse or all the verses in the song, and this is how it sounds. Also use analog lab V, American classic as well, and these are the notes I played, and this is how it sounds. I used a lot of reverb to wash it up, um, fruity reverb, increase the wetness, and I took the decay really high so that it has a lot of sustain to it, and then I cut out some high end from the piano using FL Studio's parametric EQ2. Fab filters per hour is turned off, so it's not working on it. For the lead melody, I actually layered it with a pad as well, just to give it a different vibe, and this is how it sounds. Just to give it a text, just to give it texture. So this is the sound. It may not be noticeable, but this little change can affect the vibe of the beat. All right, so the drums were really basic and easy, just a repeated clap. Just repeated clap. Then for the kick and 808, I'll need to stretch this out now so that you can see the entirety of it. So for the kick and 808, I had to have them on the same chat on the same pattern so that I can actually time the 808s properly. And this is how just the kick sounds. And then with the 808, so for the 808, I'm actually using the chord progression. So I'm actually following the chord progression of the grand piano I played earlier. So I advise you, if you're trying to get your 808 to sound right, try to follow the chords. 9 out of 10 times or 10 out of 10 times, it's going to sound really good. I have my hi-hats, really basic hi-hats pattern. This is how it sounds. So if I zoom in, I also did some pitch shifting. If I click the note fine pitch, you can see I took down some notes just to give it a different feel. And here I played a couple of notes. You could do that as well by just stretching this out, selecting it, come to tools, then go to chop. Then you're going to have options. You can modify it, but I think I'll just leave it, let it be. Then here I just have a simple open hat supporting the hi-hats. And together this is how it all sounds. So you can see making a great beat doesn't need a lot of thinking most times. Just a few layers, right? And keeping it simple is going to help your beat sound really good. The melodies are really easy to follow. The chords are really easy. And the layers also. I always advise try to have pads in your beat. Pads are is like a cheat code for making your melodies sound really good. And you don't need to play complicated melodies when you have pads, all right? Now, for the song structure, this is a very basic song structure. We have an intro for eight bars. Then we have a verse, right? We have a verse right here. Then goes back into the hook. Then the verse again goes back into the hook. Then the verse again goes back into the hook. Now, in the verse, since it's 166 BPM, right? It's 32 bars, right? Same here, is 32 bars, 32 bars. But for the hook is just 8 bars for this BPM, 8 bars, 8 bars, right? So it's a really basic song structure. And we have an outro as well. And what I noticed from the original song was they took out some parts of the drums to create kind of like a pulsing effect to make it even more interesting. For example, notice. So you could try this in your own project as well. You can try to take out some elements like kick, snare, or your claps or hi-hats, or even your melodies just to create variation and make it sound even more interesting. So it doesn't sound too straight and boring. Okay, you can just take out some elements here and there to make it sound interesting. All right, so if you found this tutorial helpful, don't forget to leave a thumbs up so other people that need this video can easily find it right here on YouTube. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you can be up to date with tutorials that I upload daily. See you again. Cheers.